don't know if we're live. Ah, it says we're live. Right, so maybe we are, maybe we are not. Maybe you can't even hear me. I've absolutely no idea because without Creaky teaching me how to stream, I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. So I'm just going to rely on the chat. If the chat can tell me I'm live, then I know I'm live. And if I am live, oh, nobody's saying that I'm live. It's a good start. This nobody's saying. Maybe there's a bit of lag. Oh, I am live. I am live. I've been reliably informed I'm live now. We are live, and we are live from... See if we can guess where I'm from. Anyone in the chat, who's the first person to tell me where I'm live from? Okay, I'm the first person to tell you. We are live from Ewood Park, the home of football. All right? Now, we don't have to be live from Ewood Park. I'm going to give my guest today the choice of venue when he comes on. But for now, shall I bring him in? Let me just do this. Watch what I've learned to do, okay? I've learned to do this. Look at that. And then I can put him away again. Right? Then I can bring him out again. How cool is that? We have, in fact, Mr. Sensible. How are you doing?
Hello, cats. I'm doing super fine, thank you. And I'll just see myself appearing and disappearing.
It's worked. I just want to say thank you to Crafty Keeler for the super chat as well. I was listening to Crafty's show last night after our debate. I really enjoyed it. Sorry I wasn't active in the chat, but I was just knackered and I was in bed with some headphones on, but really enjoyed it. So, Mr. Sensible, I don't know how many people in the chat have seen your premiere that you've just done, but you are attempting something which I think is pretty cool. I think what you're attempting is pretty cool, and it's possibly long overdue for this community. I'll just hand it over to you. What is it you're doing?
Cool. Yeah, and I hope that people have seen it. I'm running a project that I've called Mage, Mission Above Globe Earth, because those flat earthers are always going on about, show me the curve, show me the curve. And I thought, right, why don't we try and show them the curve? And it was a while before Christmas. I was just digging around on YouTube and I was looking at some of those high altitude balloon, the weather balloon films. And they all have the wide-angle lens, so the horizon is bending and curving and flopping about. And, of course, the flat earthers say, wow, it's a wide-angle lens, it's all distortion. And I thought, why are they using a wide-angle lens? Well, obviously for their own purposes. And I thought, why not do something different? Why not actually try and photograph specifically the curve of the Earth? And then I thought, wow, what a shame. I can't send up weather balloons. That's something that scientists do and so on. And it was only a while after Christmas that I found out ordinary people can send up weather balloons. And that's when I started looking into it and then thinking about the whole Mage project. The idea, and I think it was a bit of a brainwave. It's simple. It's to send up a camera that does not have a wide-angle lens. And what's more, to have a reference frame which proves that the image is not distorted, and then the flat earthers can do as they will with that. And that's the basic idea of it. So I'm hoping.
Oh, sorry, go on.
I'm hoping to take this up to 30 kilometres. 30 kilometres high.
That was going to be my question now you've said that, because I know that you've got to be pretty my earphones falling out. I know you've got to be pretty high up to see the curvature of it, but I've never sat down and done the maths on how high you've got to be, or to be honest even looked up at how high you've got to be to significantly see the curve. Oh, we've got a member, Ilya Moon, thank you very much. So how, was that something you had to do beforehand? Did you have to predict exactly how high you want to get up? What made you think, well, 30,000 feet is going to be high enough?
Well, 30,000 metres.
30,000 metres, sorry. I'm just making stuff up.
Yeah. At that sort of height, the curve should be noticeable, but it's still not going to be much. It's going to be, I think, about 3.3.5 degrees. So to the naked eye, it will still be hard to see. But the reference frame I'm putting across the field of view is a taut line. So you've got a direct comparison that you can make between the taut line and the horizon. Hopefully, that will be noticeable. As for that height, it's actually an awful... Well, I'm sure people realise there's a lot involved, but there's actually a hell of a lot more than you'd think that's involved in sending up a weather balloon. Because you've got your payload, the box, whatever equipment you're sending up, and it needs a parachute to bring it down safely. So you've got the weight of the parachute, you've got the weight of the cord between the payload, the parachute, and between the parachute and the balloon. You've got the weight of the remains of the balloon. All these things are all against you. And against that, the force you're going to use is the buoyant force of the balloon. So you've got to calculate how much gas you need. And the larger amount of gas, the quicker the balloon will burst once it gets up to a height as it expands. So you can have a bigger balloon, and that's more weight. So then you've got to recalculate. And it's a vicious circle going round and round and round. And I was extremely fortunate in that when I was looking into this and seeking advice, I came across a guy who offered to help me. And he is an experienced high altitude balloonist. And he has been so helpful, immensely helpful. And he helped me with all this to enable us to calculate. And we worked out that we'd be getting to 30 kilometers based on our rough idea of the payload weight and all the equipment. So that's where the 30K came from. It's just stunning the amount of stuff that's involved with this.
Well, so the maths behind that must be quite. So when he said he calculated it, is he, calculate that from scratch? Did you see the maths on like this is exactly how high we're going to get? This is a curvature we're going to see? Because I know one of the things that flat earthers are always going to say is, why can't we see curvature from this height, and they'll often bring up Neil deGrasse Tyson, won't they, and say, even from way up here from Felix Baumgartner, the thing is supposed to look flat. So, was it this guy who's done all the calculations from scratch? Or is it based on previous launches and stuff?
Well, these guys who send up the balloons, every time they send something up, they need to calculate how much gas they'll need for lift, and they've got target heights they want to go to. So there are calculators that are available, so you can plug in your weight, plug in your target height, and it will tell you what size balloon you need, how much gas you need. And it goes beyond that. We were discussing this in my initial live stream about this after my announcement. Prediction for landing sites, because where does it go? When I was going to be doing this by myself, I'd have been launching the balloon, and I'd have gone somewhere to the extreme west, and the prevailing wind heads towards the east, and where it lands, it lands. But it's more complicated than that, because when you get above a certain height, the prevailing wind changes direction. Now, what they can do is take into account the weather forecasts and your weight.
I'm just going to stop you there for a second, because it looks like we're not streaming. It looks like we're buffered out. Sorry.
Oh, not YouTube playing up again.
I've got a big yellow message. I've got loads of people in chat saying buffering. I've got a big yellow message saying YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain a smooth streaming. Is that something that is that a message that means it's on YouTube's end or my end?
It is, and I had it yesterday, and it was so bad I had to abandon my stream. It will be recording okay, but it depends how bad the buffering is for people watching.
Well, if it's recording, we will crack on. So yeah,
and people will at least be able to watch it again.
Let's have a look what people are saying in the chat. Whether can you just let us know in the chat whether you can hear us now or whether we're still buffering? I will sing for you while we wait. Stream is fine, sort of working, drops for a bit, so everyone heard that. Right, so sorry, I cut you off there, possibly needlessly.
That's okay. That's okay.
Crack on.
Yeah, so this software will take into account the weather forecasts, and I think you can start pumping in for predicted landing sites about 4 or 5 days before, and as you get close to the launch date, it gets more and more accurate. Well, working with Q, who's my secret helper, we actually put in our weight, put in the amount of gas, put in the launch location, and it gave a predicted landing point. Now, these predictions can be accurate to within just 4 or 5 miles. And considering you're going up, 18.5, 20 miles with rather fast winds, it's incredible. So he then said, where do we want to land? And he adjusted the amount of gas, and it then recalculated and predicted a landing somewhere. We can influence it to try and choose a landing site. I actually saw a video of a guy with a high altitude balloon, and he managed to get to the landing site. The payload was coming down, and he caught it, literally caught it in his hands, and that's down to prediction, so he could get into the area. And of course, he's tracking it constantly.
That's impressive.
It's just amazing what's involved with this.
It is. Just a big shout out. Thank you, Brainless Steel.
No,
sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say I would not have been able to do that without his help.
No, it's. I mean, when you have someone who's got that experience, it's worth more than its weight in gold, isn't it? For something like that.
Absolutely.
Crafty, I just want to say, not Crafty, so Brainless Steel, thank you very much. And Tatty as well, thank you very much. He says it's for the follically challenged feline fan club. So I don't think we're follically challenged. I think we're trend setting.
I've just started to grow it short.
Anon's asked a question. I quite often think about this when I'm teaching kids at school and we're talking about air pressure. I'll show them videos of balloons going up in the air, specifically the one that takes Felix Baumgartner up, because it's a cracking video. Yes. And you can look at it on the ground. I know it's a lot bigger than a weather balloon, but as it goes up in the air, the amount it expands is absolutely massive. Have you been informed about how he's asking how much is it going to expand? How much bigger is it going to get?
Absolutely. It will start off about 1 to 1.5 meters in diameter. By the time it's a latex balloon, by the time it gets up to its maximum height, it's approximately 9 to 9.5 meters. Wow. Massive expansion. And of course, eventually it will pop. And so that's your control, and then come down again.
I've never expanded anything made out of latex that much, Mr. Sensible. That's it.
Yeah, so it will go up to the maximum height, expand so much that the latex gives way. That's the other concern. If you don't get all these figures right, if you don't have enough weight as opposed to the amount of gas, if you get that balance wrong, it will go up and it will become buoyant, neutrally buoyant, and it won't go high enough to burst. And then what you've got, what is called a floater, and it will just travel for a long time before it does finally pop. So that has to come into it as well, because we need it to go up high enough to burst. We don't want it to go up too quickly, otherwise it could burst prematurely. So you want a nice steady ascent, and then once it does burst, obviously downity comes into it, and it starts coming down about 200 miles an hour at first.
But we don't want any floaters. We don't want
we don't want floaters. Floaters are right out.
I don't know if they use that term in America, if anyone from America is watching, but you don't want any floaters. Well, there we go. Right, I saw a video with Tom Scott. I don't know if you know Tom Scott on YouTube. He's a couple of million subscribers. He's fantastic. He does videos on all sorts of stuff, but he sent a weather balloon, and actually got another question from Anon that this fits into. He sent a balloon into space with some garlic bread on, or as high as he could.
Oh, I've seen that one, yes.
Yeah, and then he ate it when he could, and it was interesting watching him finding the video, and it filmed him driving through the fields and tracking it. So I mean, Anon's asked how you're going to find the balloon. I know you touched on that, but have you got is it going to feed GPS to your phone or something? Is it some kind of app?
Right. Well, there's several options for trackers. The cheapest and easiest, which is what I would have had to go for, is it's basically a cell phone tracker, and it basically or you can text it and it will return its GPS position. The problem is that only works below a certain altitude. So beyond that, you don't get anything until it's on its way back down again. And if it lands in an area without a GPS signal, or if it lands upside down, can't get a signal, you've had it. And according to Q, we're using those sort of trackers, you're talking 50-50 as to whether you're going to be able to track it. And that was all I was going to be able to go for. So it was quite risky. But then the other options are full-on satellite tracking, which is extremely accurate, but it relies on line of sight. So if the payload tips over, you lose the signal. The other one, which we're going for, is GPS tracking. And from that, of course, we'll also be able to establish the height we're at, which will be really useful. And that will produce a telemetry file, which I can download, overlay on the video, because obviously we'll see the height go up, 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 and then suddenly come down. So we know that's the burst point. So I can align that data with the video, so we'll be able to see the height ticking up as we go up, which will be wonderful. And so that's the option we're going for.
Yeah, no, that's superb. There's been another couple of questions just flown past, but but there was one. I know somebody just said what we're talking about. Obviously, people come into streams late, etc. To cut it short, Mr. Sensible is sending a weather balloon up very, very high, and he's going to capture evidence of the curvature of the Earth. Now, one of the things that you mentioned in your premiere video, fingers crossed. One of the things you mentioned in your premiere video was overcoming barrel distortion, which is a problem when people send up. So, do you just want to tell everybody a little bit about what barrel distortion is and what you've done to eliminate that?
Yeah, so you're going to get this distortion with those wide-angle action cameras, like a GoPro. You must have seen them where everything to the edges of the image is curving in. So when you're looking at a horizon line, whether it's flat or curved, what will happen as it moves, as the camera moves, you'll get this flexing. So we want to rule that out by using a non-wide angle lens. So we're talking a 90-degree, excuse me, a 90-degree lens. Flat earthers are still going to turn around and say, yeah, but there's still distortion. It looks distorted to me. So what we're doing is across the field of view, we're going to have a spring-loaded line, so it's kept taut at all times, so that when we have the resultant video, you can do a screen cap, and then you can take that screen cap image into your graphics package, overlay a straight line on the string line, or just above, just below it, whatever you want, and you'll see that string is still straight. Therefore, there's no distortion in the image. And of course, we can pick the best images that will minimize any effect by picking images where the thing we're looking at is in the center of the frame. And that's the basic idea of it. Of course, they're going to argue against it, but...
Well, there'll be some that will argue dishonesty and you're a liar. There'll be some that come up with some incredible new physics that they've not even invented yet that will explain it away. But of course, at the end of the day, it's going to be, a fantastically honest attempt to show, what you can see from up there.
Yeah. Well, the flight from launch to maximum height will take about 1 3/4 hours and about 30 to 45 minutes coming back down again, which is obviously a hell of a long video. So for the experiment video, it will show the launch, and I'm sure there'll be some interesting bits on the way up. Interesting views, so I'll show those. And of course, the most important thing is when we're at height. Now, I know that they're going to say, "Oh, that's edited," but the full video of the from launch to landing, hopefully showing me letting go, and hopefully showing me walking up to the landed probe, will be shown as a complete video, both using the wide-angle lens and using the narrow-angle lens, so that it proves it's a one-shot thing. I haven't actually made that clear. I'm using a narrow-angle lens for the flat Earth experiment, but since we're going up there, I'm also shoving a wide-angle lens camera so we get a good panoramic view in the other side of Mage. That's not part of the experiment. That's just because we're going up there and it looked cool.
So you can see that, and people like those types of videos. Even people that aren't in the whole, conspiracy flat Earth thing, they just like seeing balloons go up and down, and they're great. Those kind of videos can go viral, so you could just release it as a whole, start to finish, and I bet it would do really well.
Yeah.
Well, I hope is a ladder. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, so there will be the experiment video, which is only edited to the extent that it's cut down. There'll be the full wide-angle lens version and the full narrow-angle lens version. So they're all available. Those are available for other people to take images from, to try and prove or disprove what we're showing.
That'd be amazing.
I should say. Sorry, I was going to say, I should say, Cats, I'm actually running, just for fun, because of my channel, a couple little side experiments. I'm also sending up a little bit of cheese to see how that tastes after it's been down to roughly 1% atmospheric pressure and minus 40, 50, 60 degrees, and also some cat biscuits for Arnold, who's pretty much a mascot on my channel. So he's going to try some space cat biscuits.
Well, that video could go viral. You just put a video, cat eats biscuits from space. Like those things will,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like those will blow up. You can show the video, show your cat eating it. You could make about 5 or 6 videos from this. That would that
Yeah,
really
it
would
should
be
be
great.
fun.
But I'm going to say, Chaos
I
as a
did-
Ladder just cut me deeply. He's just said that the Wham Stadium in Accrington gets more fans than Ewell Park these days. So I'll have to ban him. Anyway, crack on.
Well, I did see that someone asked about how, and I've seen it mentioned a few times, is how we stop Mage swinging and turning around. Is you can't. I have seen weather balloon payloads with, in effect, wings out the side, and that could steady it to a certain amount, but it will also mean it's going to blow a lot further because it's going to catch more wind. The actual turning doesn't matter, but at times it will turn fast and the footage at that point won't be very usable. Other times it will be virtually stationary, especially when we get right up and we're only talking 1% atmosphere. It will steady an awful lot. So all we need is a slow moving part and take a freeze frame. So that's not a problem, and it's going to cost more weight to try and fix that as a problem, which means less height, and I'd rather have the height.
Definitely. I had another question here, a good one, asking, will the raw data be available? Obviously, I know you're going to make the videos available. What other raw data will you collect?
Well, what we've got is the video data, start to finish, and the telemetry file. Well, the telemetry can only fit at one point, i.e. starting off at launch, peaking at burst point, and getting back to 0 or whatever the base level is on landing. So when I get the full video, I'll overlay the telemetry on it. That's the only editing that will have. And I'll probably put an intro and an outro on the end, but the rest of it's untouched. Now, people will be able to use aspects of that video if they're trying to debunk me, that's fine, or if they want to use it to debunk others. But there isn't any other data. The only measured data on this launch is the altitude. When I was looking at doing this myself and I was having to purchase all the equipment, I was looking at a fairly basic tracker, but they had a slightly more advanced one which had things like air pressure, temperature, and a whole load of other sensors. And at that point I thought, well, yeah, I might as well have them because it would be interesting. Now I've traded that off for a much better chance of success, less weight and more height, with the help of Q. Because the pressure's interesting, the temperature's interesting, but that's not what I'm going up there. The main reason I'm going up there, and I want to get up there as simply as possible, is to try and take that undistorted photo. If I get one photo showing an undeniable curve that they can't debunk, it's a job done.
Cool. We've got a question from Gary Little, who says, have you got any plans in case there's some kind of catastrophic failure or something like that? What can go wrong? What are you most worried about? And then what could you do about it?
There is an awful lot that could go wrong. We're going to have to choose I've got a launch window of about 4 days. So the weather could be too atrocious for a launch. That's a real drag, but we could redo it at a later point. Things that could go wrong is there are manufacturing differences between balloons. If we get one that happens to be a bit weaker, then it could burst too soon. We could the battery cameras could run out. In fact, the cameras, although fully charged and they're lithium batteries, will not last. So each camera has its own external battery pack as well. They're LiPo batteries. So that should see us from launch to landing. But something could go wrong with them. A camera could fail. The battery pack could not last. You could get icing up across the lens so you can't see what you want to see. Of course, the parachute could fail to open, so the whole lot's going to hit the ground at 200 miles per hour, which wouldn't be good. We could land in water. Now, the cameras would be trashed, but if we could track it, the SIM cards, you know what I mean, the data cards would be okay. We could just lose the tracking and never find it. There's lots that could go wrong. There is absolutely no guarantees in any of this. All we can do is try and minimize it.
Excellent. See, it must be quite a nervous when you let it go. It'll be quite a nervous time, then, won't it? You know, everything, all the hard work you've put into it, all the expense you've put into it, all the nervous nights and the anxiety. You know, being anxious, waiting for it to happen, and then if it does
It's
go
going
wrong,
to be
that
so
would be gutting, won't
exciting.
it?
It's so
It will be.
exciting.
Well, look, if it goes wrong, there's a viral video for you there. You know, a balloon launch goes spectacularly wrong from the point of view of the balloon. You know, something for you there. Let's have a look what else we've got in the chat.
I see that Foxabillo's asked how is GPS data transmitted to the base station. Well, what it is, it's a little GPS card. It's got an AA-sized lithium battery. That's got its own built-in GPS aerial, so that knows its location, and it will transmit its location. You think one AA battery and a little aerial about this long is not going to do much good, but in fact, as long as it's above the horizon, the radio horizon, and at the height we're talking about, you could be 400 miles away and pick up that GPS location. Wow. So we've got an aerial that we'll use on the ground, picks up the signal, we upload that onto a map, we know where it is. Bingo. So that's the idea of it.
I'm going to pronounce his name wrong, so I apologise for that. I think it's Aniceto Maldonado. I apologise if I got that wrong. He wants to add something to the payload. I don't know if you've seen that. He wants to add a little bit of cannabis to it, so he could.
A little bit of what?
Cannabis, so he could do some experiments on space cannabis. Are you taking?
You can get
extra
high
things?
then.
Yeah. I think you'll be getting higher than the balloon. Yeah.
So that's something else that could go wrong. I could get it confiscated.
Kenneth Schultz says, remember to isolate the LiPo batteries as they won't work under 0 degrees.
Well, this is all equipment. The LiPo battery packs is equipment supplied by Q, the experienced balloonist. His equipment works. He has done multiple launches. So I do thank you, but yeah, I have got cracking, almost professional. I'd say professional advice. So I'm not worried about things like that.
Tommy Gromwald asked a question before, and I didn't mean to ask it. He's asked two. He's asked, are you going to have a straight line across the edge? But he's mentioned that he's going to have a very taut, spring-loaded string across the edge to act as a straight line. But he's asking if you got like a launch location, or is that secret? You don't want anyone turning up and...
Yeah, I'm afraid the launch location is secret, as is the actual launch day. There are reasons behind that I can't go into. But on the day that the launch has taken place, and if I've either been successful or unsuccessful with regard to recovery, I will then announce on my community tab that it's taken place. Then it'll be a case of producing the video, so people will know just after the fact. But I'm unable to give an exact date. I can give the window. It's between 24th and 27th of August, so it's not far off. And there's also reason why I didn't make the initial announcement until just at the very end of July. And that is, I had this idea, so I wanted to be first to do it. Now, you have to get permission to do a weather balloon launch from the Civil Aviation Authority, and that takes 28 days. So I waited till just within the 28 days, so that even if you cats decided, you know what, by golly, I'm going to do one, you wouldn't be able to complete it and get it up there before me. So,
yeah, no, and I definitely appreciate that. Yeah, you don't want someone beating you to it. So what else we got? Alan says some people have joined late, so can we have a quick summary? Yeah, Mr. Sensible is going to send a weather balloon up with a camera to 30,000 meters to capture curvature of the Earth. That's the plan.
that's the plan.
Right. Let's see. Now, don't give me a price because I don't want to be nosy. But is this a cheap thing to do, or is it something that requires funding?
Well, what would be your guesstimate? Just, I know you're pulling figures out of your butt, but what would be your guesstimate as to what it might cost?
I always pull figures out of my butt, so I'll hit this on the fly. I'm going to say, to send it up, to retrieve it, track it. I'm going to say, do you need a license? Did you say to pay? Is that
no license?
Okay,
no license. You're purely talking equipment and expendables.
I'm going to say three grand.
$3,000.
Yeah. Or is this one of those
slightly
moments
wrong.
where I say something like 28 million pounds, so whatever you say doesn't sound as impressive? 28 million pounds. No, I'm guessing. I don't know, because I don't know how much the technology
No, I
is.
know.
Or
No,
I'm going to say 3 grand.
absolutely. And I know absolutely nothing about it, because that's the other thing. I wouldn't have known until I started looking into it. And doing it myself, obviously not having any equipment prior, so everything was going to have to be purchased, begged, borrowed, stolen. I was working on a rough budget. It was subject to perhaps quite a bit of change, but a rough budget of £600. So,
Wow.
it's not. Let's just send up a balloon and I'll throw away £600. So it's a chunk of money, but it's not a life-changing amount of money. But I've had such amazing support. I mean, I've got my patrons, I've got my members, and I've had, well, when I did my announcement video and the live stream straight after, I had an incredible amount of super chats in support of it. And also Bob the Science Guy has chucked in some money to come on board as a sponsor, which is great of him. Really pleased about that.
He's a good guy, isn't he? He's a good guy, very intelligent guy as well.
But now, of course, because I've had Q, I've been able to borrow a lot of the equipment that I would have had to purchase. So I'm thinking, because it's still the cost of the balloon, just the balloon is going to be around £120 for that latex balloon. You're talking somewhat over £100, I think, for the hydrogen gas. So it all adds up very quickly. So I'm reckoning sort of £300 to £400 plus his incidentals. I'm going to have to get a couple of bottles of champagne. I'm going to give one to Q because he deserves it. But also, if I landed in your back garden, that's a knock on your door and say, "Hey, cats, can I come and collect my cheese experiment that's just been up almost to space?" Bottle of champagne by way of thanks. It's just I understand that hot air balloonists do that sort of thing. So there's incidentals like that, and also other things. I did a little very rough diagram for a logo, and a good friend of mine, long-term subscribed to my channel, Osvaldo Greco, he turned my rough drawing into a beautiful graphic, and I have just today. So this is the big reveal. I've just got these patches have come through.
Beautiful.
Mission Above Globe Earth, Arnold, Mr. Sensible, cheese. Now, this is extremely limited edition. There are only 5 of these. One's for me, one's for my daughter, Mini Miss Sensible. One is for Q, and one competition. It will be going up in the Mage probe to whatever height we go to. So we're looking for 30 kilometers right now. So there will be a patch that's been to the edge of space, or edge of near space. It does count as near space. And I will be releasing a little video about, I think, probably around the 21st of August with details of the competition and how people can win that. But there's only one available, I'm afraid.
And speaking of videos, you did premiere one tonight, but I will tell anyone watching on Mr. Sensible's channel, and obviously Mr. Sensible, feel free to spam it in the chat as much as you want there. You can go over and you can see snapshots of the equipment, you can hear everything he's saying in much more detail on that video, and then if you stay subscribed to Mr. Sensible, you can obviously follow the story. And I'm definitely excited. I'm a little bit worried because I've just had a message flash up saying that we've dropped our frame rate by 55%, and that doesn't sound good. But the chat doesn't seem to be saying we can't.
No, that's what I had yesterday. No, everyone seems to be behaving normally in the chat. The good thing is, if there is an issue and it does become difficult to watch, if the stream completes, then once YouTube has processed it, there'll be no lag, no buffering. Because that's what happened with my stream yesterday, and I've actually pulled a standalone video to debunk Mitchell from Australia out of that, which will be out tomorrow. So.
Or just apparently the video is stuttering, but the audio is okay, which is fine. So for people to keep up to date with this project, what's the best way they can follow you and keep up to date with that? Are you tweeting about it daily? Are you community posting it? What's the best thing?
I am community posting and I am tweeting. It's at It's Mr. Sensible. with updates as to when things happen with Mage. The plan is we've had the initial announcement followed by a live stream discussing it. We've had the initial design tonight as a premiere, followed by this discussion. In just over a week's time, I think next Friday, will be a video showing construction, because this whole process is actually on video is actually running several weeks behind. I'm ahead of you guys, so it's quite interesting when I've seen people come up with ideas, say, "Oh, could you do this? Could you do that?" Some of which are already done. Because, as I said, I was tied to timescales because of this 28-day thing. So I'm afraid that people's input hasn't been able to be taken on board with this build, unless someone comes up with a cracking idea of something that we can fit in at the last minute. Because Mage is already built. You'll find out about the construction next week.
Fantastic. Robert Caslow has just asked a question which we've kind of addressed, but I know people come in and out of the stream. Will the balloon go high enough to burst? Well, the answer to that is yes, but my question to you, because we've addressed that, but my question to you is, Ms. Sensible, when it does burst and it falls, right? Yeah. If it hit someone on the head when it fell, could it do them any damage?
Well, the initial design weight is 500 grams. So it's a substantial weight. When we get the burst, we're up at 1% atmospheric pressure, so it will accelerate, and it will accelerate to around 200 miles per hour, and there's obviously not much atmosphere to force open that parachute, because what you've got is you've got the payload and a cord, parachute and a cord, and a balloon at the top. So on the way up, the parachute's all sort of folded up like an umbrella. As soon as it drops, it opens, but only when there's enough atmosphere. That will slow it from 200 miles an hour. By the time we get down to the point where it's going to land, we should be looking at 10 to 11 miles an hour, something of that, 5 meters per second. So it will give you a bump, but as long as that parachute's opened, it's not going to do any serious damage unless it goes through someone's greenhouse or something. I guess I'll just have to cough up on that one if that happens.
But it'd be worth it. You get the footage you want. It will definitely be worth it.
I hope so. And do you know what? Cats? Even if this goes up, 1,000 feet, pops and comes straight back down again, what an interesting project, Obviously, I hope it does better than that, but it's just a fabulous thing.
You've given it a go, You've given it a go. You've learnt a lot doing it. There's a lot there documented. There's still videos to be made out of it. Failed balloon launch. People will be happy to watch that. It's a win-win situation. No matter what happens.
I think so.
Unless you send it up and you see a massive ice wall. That's like...
Well, yes. We'll have to cover that up quick, won't we? But I've been amazed. I mean, I knew people would be interested, but I've been amazed at the interest. I've been astonished at the level of support I've got. One or two people contacted me privately and were extremely generous, and I do thank them for that. So it's possible. I haven't even spoken to Q, so I'm holding out no promises. If we do this and it does the job perfect, that'll probably be it. If we find that it's not quite enough, and we've learnt a lot from this experiment, then it's possible that we'd look into doing a Mage 2. But as I said, I've not spoken to Q about that, and with the amount of knowledge, expertise, and equipment he's given and loaned me, I've really come to rely on him. But we'll see about that. And hopefully, Mage itself will produce a good result.
And then you'll have it there to keep, like for the rest of your life. Though you'll have Mage to sit on your shelf, look where your company. So that's brilliant. Absolutely
Mage,
brilliant.
I'm hoping that afterwards, assuming we recover it, Mage will hang up here behind me. And that's why I've got one of these patches for myself, because it's something I don't want to ever forget. And as you said, we'll have it all on video, and people will be able to use that. I'll make that freely available for debunks. As I said, I can only be fair. Debunks either way, but that'll be interesting. So the best way, I'll be honest, is to subscribe and hit notify all, which everyone should do, and to this to Cat's channel as well. And bearing in mind, I don't know if you guys have been having problems with notifications lately. My understanding is that the fix is to unsubscribe, subscribe again, and make sure you've got all notifications set, because I think YouTube set everyone's notifications different, which is a bit of a pain.
Yeah, I heard something like that. I mean, I found that, I don't know if my notifications are lower or they're being rolled out over a longer period, but I find that my initial views on any video are lower. But by the time the first 7 days have passed, they're where I expect them to be. So it's like they're being rolled out on a, you know, my views are the same.
Spread
just
out.
take longer to get there. Crafty Keeler, thank you very much. And she's urging everyone to hit that like button, and I'll not disagree. What I'm going to say is, because we're not going to be here all night, but if you tag Mr. Sensible in with any questions you've got, then Mr. Sensible should see that. And
I'm watching, and I'll do the best I can.
Well, while they're putting some questions in, I just want to see what background you want, because I've learned how to do backgrounds now, you see. What I'm just going to move. I'm going to hide you here, Mr. Sensible. Okay.
Okay.
And you can choose if you look at the stream.
I'm looking at the stream now.
So at the minute, tell me when you can see yourself hidden.
I'm still there.
There's a bit of light here.
I'm good looking, aren't I?
Right. Well, right now we're in Ewood Park. Okay, but I can let me just turn those off. Okay.
Did you say Evil Park?
Ewood. It's the home of football. Ewood Park.
Oh,
the home of football. We turn that off. We could have the normal one. We could be in space, right?
Hello. 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 Hello, cats.
We're back. Right.
Hello.
Hello, mate. Sorry, my internet just completely dropped out, so I just went to get my tablet, see if I could end stream. I don't know if we're still streaming now or not. I don't know how this works.
I think we are.
Do we? Did we do?
I would suggest, yes, we are streaming. I can see it, and we've not got much of a delay. I suggest we don't worry about those backgrounds.
Yes, just right. Let me. Oh God, I'm completely out of the studio now in OBS. I thought we'd gone completely. Let me. Yeah, I'll tell you what. You take some questions, and I'll sort out the technical stuff at my end.
Yeah, so go on, people. Fire some questions. Let's go back. I did see Keeler said to me, "How much do I love your content?" Lots. Quite right too. Gary Isle of Wight asked me, what frequency will the transponder be on? I imagine the size of that aerial, 450-ish megahertz, should be able to receive it on the Isle of Wight at that height. Gary, I don't know the frequency, but as I said, at the height we're going to, if you had the frequency, you'd be able to pick it up around 400 miles away. Arctic Hay says he tried to email me, but my business email doesn't work. I don't know why not. It's mr-sensible@hotmail.com. mr-sensible@hotmail.com. Andreas Elt asks, will the GPS tracker log the height continuously the entire flight? Yes, it will. I'm not sure of the frequency of it. Every couple of seconds, something like that. It's certainly enough for what we're doing. It's not like it's every 10-minute logging or something. It's set in seconds. And Stephen Geibel, hope I pronounced that right, asks or says, use 3 string lines across the frame, 1 in the center, 1 above and 1 below. It will give better results that can't be refuted as easily. Stephen, that is an excellent suggestion. As I said, the initial design, the video that premiered tonight, is actually some time behind reality. Things have moved on to design. You will see the construction on Friday, so there are further developments. Are there any others?
I'm almost with you. I'm just
how much does YouTube hate me this week?
I'm just back in the studio now with a. Sorry, go on. You were saying.
Tequila. It seems. Guts. Oh, it's a radio transmitter on the balloon in case there's a problem with the GPS. You can easily track a radio signal to its location with simple triangulation. Yeah, well, we've got GPS tracking more advanced than as designed. But I wanted to show the whole development of it.
Anon just said, sorry, just brought. He said reduce the frame rate as much as you can. I don't know how. I'll be honest. I need to learn that. I don't know what that means.
I don't think you can do it. I don't think you can do it when your stream is running, Cat. So I did change mine. I can't remember the figure. I changed mine some months back, and it does reduce it. But right now, YouTube is having problems. I was absolutely slaughtered on my stream last night, and when I went to look at the stream, it was running 3 minutes behind me. Not good.
Well, I think this is my internet that's having problems, because when we got cut off, I had no internet connection at all, and I've just run a speed test now, and I'm down to about 4 meg per second. So whatever's happened is an internet problem.
Upload.
So,
well, I've been having slow connection today.
Oh, it's just what's my upload? Oh no, my upload's 3, not even that, 2.9. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to maintain the stream actually, and I don't want it crashing without me having access to the internet, because then I won't be able to stop it. So what I might do, sorry, is just give you a chance just to.
I think YouTube will actually abandon it if it loses the stream. It will end it after a certain while, and it cuts off the tail end automatically, I believe. Well, yeah, I'll just quickly run through. What if I hit the dome? I don't know, Matthias. I didn't really want to miss any questions. What's the airspeed of an unladen swallow, says Chris Durham. What do you mean, African or European? Is Jaffa cake a biscuit? These questions aren't very serious, Cats. A Jaffa cake is a cake, not a biscuit.
There was a court case about that, wasn't there?
Yes, because of tax on biscuits or something, yeah. I think we're up to date on questions. But I'm more than willing for people to either email me, jump on my Discord to ask me any questions. My Discord link is in the description of all my videos. Very welcome. Please keep an eye out for the Mage videos. As I said, there's another one coming out on Friday. I've got a couple of cracking videos come out. I was streaming last night, Cats, and I did a live debunk of Mitchell from Australia. The stream was getting worse and worse, but I carried on and finished the debunk. But then when YouTube had processed it, it was perfect. So I just snipped that out and wrapped it up in a standalone video. That's out tomorrow night. And boy, does Mitch get made to look dumb. He is Mitch made.
He's not somebody I've heard too much of. Like, what kind of flat earther is he? Is he like your Nathan Oakley, Anthony Riley type, or?
Well, I had a debate with. I chatted to him a couple of times, and it was planned to have a debate with him on Fight the Flat Earth. And he seemed like a really nice guy. We got on well, and it was very polite during the debate. And I think we each had 2 points we were trying to question the other about, and one of mine was stellar rotation. And he talked about it for about 15 minutes, and then he kept waffling. And I finally brought him back to the point and said, look, Mitch, tell me, how can you explain 2 points of stellar rotation? And he actually said in the stream, I'm sorry, I haven't got an explanation for that. And I was, okay, fair enough. And, I can respect that. I wasn't going to kick him when he sort of admitted he couldn't explain it. But then he claimed a win and twisted my words about that whole black swan thing, and he basically did the dirty. So I'm afraid I don't like to hold, or I don't feel the need to hold back. I'm not rude and nasty, but I'll debunk his crap all day long,
Yeah. So
he did one because Dan had done a response to him. Well, Dan had done a response to him and included a photo from or an image from the ISS showing star trails, and Mitch has done a supposed debunk video saying how it's impossible, how the image is fake, and how Simon Dan is lying.
Oh,
well, last night I pulled that to bits.
I saw that. Yes. I saw Ranty play it, and honestly, within the first 5 seconds or something, I had to turn it off because he said something like, "I've debunked the fact that I've debunked star trails." You just said it. I've debunked Star Trek. I won't tell you
Yeah.
how, but I've debunked it. It's like, I can't be bothered with that. So I knocked him off. So that's the guy. I just want to say thank you to Andrew Garner.
Yeah.
He said, have we accounted for the heavenly energies? Yeah, will the heavenly energies scuppy your balloon plan?
It's all right. I'll put a very heavy Faraday cage around Mage. Maybe that'll work. I'll speak to Bob Nodell about that. Thanks, Bob.
And the Snark, thank you very much. Lovely guy, the Snark. I've met him once. We had something to eat. It was nice guy. He wants a conspiracy cat's mask. Yeah, I might make some of those. But yeah, lovely guy. Well, I'm not going to I think we've done an hour, and the Sarcastic Barman's got a stream, which I'm just going to put the link to here.
Ooh.
He's starting soon over on the EIE network. I was on that last week, and it was great fun, so I recommend anyone having a watch from that.
They're good guys.
What I'm going to do, Miss Sensible, is every video I make between now and the launch, which will probably only be one video because you know how slow I am on videos, but every video I make between now and the launch, I will shout out what you're doing and link them to the premiere video on your channel so they can watch the premiere video and get up to speed with it. Is there anything else
you can link them to...
Go on.
I was going to say, you could link them to my playlist for Mage. I've got a specific playlist for Mage.
Oh,
and what I'll do, if you're okay about it, in probably next Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll mirror tonight's discussion and put it in there as well. So I'll leave this one running for now. No, I'll do it in a few days' time if you're okay with that.
Oh, mate, you feel free to honestly mirror it immediately. Like, feel free to mirror it immediately. Like, this is all about telling people what you're doing. So the more channels it's on, the better. You know, I'm happy for anyone to mirror this. Not a problem. So as soon as it's processed, put it up. I haven't got a problem with that at all, mate. Is there anything else you want to say, shill out with about Mage, or you know anything you've got coming up before my internet completely dies?
Let me have a very quick look at what videos I've got coming up. Bear with me 1 second. I did a video. This guy said he's got 100% video proof of the flat Earth. Not only have I debunked him, I'll show that he is a liar. He's totally disingenuous. So he's going to be receiving a kicking. And also, there's a conspiracy nut who got his channel banned. He's back again under a new channel name. I found him while he's only got sort of 150 subscribers. And so I do a bit of a funny video about him, a bit of a kicking. And then I found out some information about him that is in the public domain. So I'm not doxing him, but I think it will shock an awful lot of people big time. And that's coming out. Which day is that? That's on the 11th of August. So that's Tuesday. That's the start of my next week's slots. So I'm looking forward to that one as well. So those are my 3 videos that I've got coming up. And the Mage build video should be next Friday, followed by live stream probably to talk about it.
You're a lot more organised than me.
I think that's it.
You're a lot more organised.
I've got a big whiteboard. I've got a big whiteboard here.
All laid out your strategy. I haven't got a clue what my next video is. And I need to do a members video because I'm supposed to do one every month, and I went away in the last week of January and didn't do it. So I'm going to do 2 in August if anyone's a member watching, and I'll get that sorted very soon. And also, agree to disagree members as well will have access to those videos. Just throwing that out there. So, thank you very much for coming on, and good luck. I can't wait to see it. And like I say, I'll advertise it.
Thank you.
If you've just joined the stream late and you're wondering what's going on, Mr. Sensible is going to be sending a balloon up 30,000 meters with a camera that will eliminate barrel distortion to show the curvature of the Earth, and it should be great.
That's the plan. And I would just like to say thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me on your channel. I've really enjoyed chatting about this. And as I said, I'm open to people sending me any questions about it.
Well, you're on Twitter, aren't you? It's at
Twitter.
Mr. Sensible.
That's it. And I have Discord available, links in the description of my videos. So welcome to hear from people.
Well, I'm just popping one last time the link into Sarcastic Barman's bar chat. I was on it last week. It's great fun. So I'm going to go and sit in the chat and speak to people over there when we're done, and I'm going to have a beer. It's been a long day, but this has been definitely the highlight of it. Definitely been the highlight, and I'll certainly say goodbye to you properly off air. But everyone else, I will say goodbye, and I can't wait for this. So
nice one. Nor can I.
Andrew Garner's just said Nathan Oakley had a whiteboard, but he had to send it back because the chalk didn't work. Oh, goodness. Right. Okay. I've got to figure out how to end the stream. So I think I'm going to click on the intro and then try and end it from there. So bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you very much. Good night. Stay sensible.